Maize, it's also good to have you on.
Yeah.
I think the first time I met you was when you came to, I think like my second art exhibition, and it was we had two at the same time. We had queer futurism, your diary, and you were in the diary portion of it.
Yeah.
And so what was cool is, hey Tito, yes, yeah, we do have a show. So for those of you tuning in, this is episode one of Seattle Creatives, and this is a part of City Artists, uh, which is a project I have going. And so Maze,
Hmm.
you do textile design, and you also do tattoo.
Yep.
Uh, no, let's show it off, please. Like, just bring it out. Yeah,
I
let's.
was trying to find my perfect show and tell piece, but it must be in like another art box. But here it is, kind of like a picture, a small, sorry,
Oh, that's
piece
perfect.
of
Yeah.
fabric. I have so many. Oh, I have a piece of wallpaper. This is kind of like a P-Gog. It has like a special backing to it, but I haven't really figured out what to do with it. But like wallpaper.
Mhm. So and the thing is, I
Like,
brought it in, and I this is just me being me. I mean, I was just like, oh man, ties, handkerchiefs. But what I saw you do that I really liked was, and I'm getting like way ahead of where I want to go with the interview, and that's okay. We're just gonna let art take its place and just go. But something I saw you do that was really creative is in your packaging, like your brand design and everything, you have a piece of your fabric in there.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, actually, I'll let me go ahead and answer this question. Tito, yeah, um, Maze does do tattoos, and it's cool because Maze's artwork, it's not just fabric; it is fabric and tattoos, and they really feed into each other.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna let it go from there. Maze, could you tell them a little bit
Yeah.
more about? Yeah.
So my style of um tattooing is directly it's kind of like a system, an ecosystem, I think, of my work because I like to paint, I like to draw. I've been doing that for years. Learned how to do like digital art. Did some more like hands-on work with like installation, with like building like boxes and then lining that with like my wallpaper, something like 3D. And then now, through a lot of my work in pattern design and just graphic design, people have uh, felt very curious of what those designs would look like as tattoos. So I did attempt a couple times to get an apprenticeship. I did have an apprenticeship for a time, and so my style's kind of like been evolving from like black work, ornamental. I do like a lot of dot work, some soft shading. I'm mostly like stipple shading, texture shading, and the biggest thing is like very illustrative, like ornamental patterns, kind of like sci-fi themes, really graphic. Yeah. So that's kind of what the styles have been evolving into. And I do love drawing characters and all types of things. But so this is kind of like answering his question and also talking about like how my process is as well. So
Nice.
kind of like how it started. Yeah.
Cool. I just want to ask, how's
Nico,
audio on your end?
what's up?
How's audio on your end?
It's fine. How's mine?
Oh, you're good.
Oh God, yeah. I don't need any more effing problems. You can curse on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's Instagram Live. I think we're fine. No, I'm using my lavalier mics, and I just want to make sure it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, and this is going to kind of recap what we did in the previous session.
Mhm.
What brought you to Seattle? Because I think you told me you weren't always from Seattle.
No, I'm originally from the East Coast, so my roots are in New Jersey, New York, and then I was raised a lot. A lot of my queer Black upbringing was in Atlanta, some parts of Florida for art school, but yeah, I was raised on the East Coast, and then I moved over to the West Coast back in 20. I'm not going to age myself right now. I will let people guess all the way to the end. So,
Okay.
so
I'm
I,
still guessing. You haven't even told
because
me.
it's funny. So yeah, when I came to the West Coast, I was in California first for some years. That's where I really started like building and kind of like taking off with, getting into the art community, like volunteering, showing up to art shows, getting to know people, and then seeing what galleries I would like to show in. And then like, there's a lot of like professional galleries and like studios, and then there's like the underground, above ground subculture, different versions of, there's like a couple friends and some wild ideas that have created some amazing like work there that I've been inspired by without funding. So
Uh,
there's a lot of.
what part of California?
I started in SoCal, but I originally came to California on a one-way ticket to kind of like
Okay.
to try to work as a designer in LA. It's like one of my things where if I'm serious about this, I'm gonna do the steps. And I've been doing the steps my whole life, but like when you hit a certain block and you know that a jump start and a whole new state would work for you, California was my destination. And I tried to work in LA, going around the fashion districts, talking to
Okay.
different designers and stuff to trying to see like, hey, I think this work is beautiful and amazing. Other people have said so.
Is this
I'm
like
really just kind of going for it and seeing where this could lead me.
yeah? Is this like
Yeah,
Santee Alley area or is this like Santee Alley area like Garment District?
yeah, I've been down. Yeah, yeah, the Garment District. I remember like going down there a bunch. I was like catching the train from like the desert to get out there. I
Wait,
remember
what part of the
sitting.
desert? Oh, because you're talking to a Cali
Yeah,
raised, born and raised.
yeah, I was in Moreno Valley, which I guess is in San Bernardino or Riverside. I forget which
Yeah.
county. So I was there
Okay.
for like a couple years to kind of get on my feet. I was staying with some family, and then moved up to Sacramento, where I got to know a lot more artists. It kind of really let me see like my pace in it. Like, when you're on your path, on your journey as a
Yeah.
creative, you'll align with other people who are also parallel in their paths and journey at different stages, which is why it's really awesome to meet and talk to people at different levels because everyone's still evolving and growing. And that need to evolve and grow and that curiosity and that drive just led me to West Coast. Stayed in California, then came up to Washington for uh, a land project back in 2019 before the height of COVID. And
And actually, before we get into that real quick, I'm gonna answer a question.
Mhm.
Hey Tito, yes, actually, you're part of the desert. So you have a in the audience, you have about two people plus me who are from the deserts of California.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it was
nice.
just like, oh hey,
Yo, I was in Moreno Valley and our AC broke, and I'm just like, I was just basically in my underwear. I couldn't. I
yeah.
just stayed there.
There was a time where I was someplace the AC wasn't working, so what they did is they had us go outside because we were
Mhm,
kids, go outside and play, and then
mhm.
come inside because it's gonna be cooler inside once you go play outside.
Right? But there's been some really romantic. It was a big jump for me as like a younger 20 something to kind of just pick up my life, but it was easy for me to do. Situations kind of breed a lot of like kind of garner a lot of like growth and evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Tito, but luckily that was years ago. I don't have to think about it again. Never happened again. Everybody was cool. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm still here. But the romantic part about being down there in the desert, which is what I miss, is like I was able to sit on like a little balcony, kind of looking at the sunset over like the mountains and stuff. It's feeling very like emo, like
I get you. I get you.
I could write a song about this type of
Look,
thing.
I'll
But
I'll
yeah.
send you a picture after. There's this place in my hometown, Bakersfield, called the Bluffs, and it's overlooking the desert. You're getting a really nice sunset or sunrise, but there's like if you look down, there's like these oil donkeys, but if you look up, like there's these palm trees and stuff.
Mm.
Uh, it is one of the best parts of the town. I'll send you this
Yeah.
photo because it ties into like what you're saying. Like you can have an emo moment right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of like think about there's like a tar and like the sunset in the mountains. You're like, but yeah, it was very beautiful. And Northern California was beautiful too. And I really got my stride in like, work and then also creativity because you got to work to, you know, stay alive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, which I enjoyed a lot. I used to do like a lot of nature emergency response, like conservation work. Also fell in love with nature in tandem with the evolution of my work and intention on where I want to go.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, I know that back when I first started like my career, like after college, California had this huge nature conservation initiative where they're having people go and they like help maintain trails, do like help recovery after fire, stuff like that. So that's it's a huge thing, especially in Northern California.
Yeah. It was a conservation corps.
Yeah. Okay. That. Okay. I
AmeriCorps.
didn't.
Yeah, I was in that. Tough.
Okay.
I loved it. Yeah, it was hard, but I was, I don't know. I kind of, I've never been a military person, but they tried to be like a military conservation,
Mhm.
just in terms of like getting there hella early. As far as like structure, it's a hit or miss. But
Yeah.
very really awesome experience though. I took it with stride, became a leader in that too. So I fully believe that your life is what you make it, and you make the decisions. Hopefully, you're in a place to make good decisions for yourself. But sometimes when things, are a struggle, you just gotta remember your missions and goals and where you want to be, and you just kind of take things. It's all part of your story. And a lot of wild things happens in like stories and stuff. So just part of your goals. Yeah.
I can imagine. And so after this, which in a way, Northern California is kind of like prepping you for Washington because it's a lot of the same
Yeah.
vibe. But after
Yeah.
that, came here in 2019.
Yeah.
And then did you like jump into art immediately when you got up here, or
Well, I was on a break. I took a little bit of a break from really pushing the artwork while I was in Washington for those first couple years because I was really focused on farming and spiritual access to not spiritual access, but more ancestral work with land. As far as like myself and uh, my ancestors, honoring them through connecting, learning, cultivating, stewarding, and continuing that work in terms of like farming and taking care of the property I was on. Um, and
can I ask
and
a question
yeah,
about
sure.
that? So you said ancestral work, farming. So I wanted to ask, like, did you have ties to that? Like, I'm looking at it from like a Black history standpoint. I know my own family, for example, California, my great grandfather owned a lot of the land, and then the city ended up owning it. And so I realize now, like, there's a huge importance in like being able to buy, have land, build farm, like being able
Yeah,
to be independent of that.
yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, does your family have ties out here to farming, or
Uh, they have ancestral ties to farming on in North Carolina and just in general as like, a lot of like, African countries are very like, agrarian. So we all have a deep connection with taking care of the land, being like spiritually and ritually and just, birth from it, so when I found out that my mom always told me that she grew up on a farm in North Carolina. It was like owned by her dad and the uncle, I think. But either way, we did have like a 10-acre farm in our family history in North Carolina that has like now a freeway running through it because of, redlining and
yeah,
predatory banks and, as far as the history of that. So in everything I do with the art, with like my life, I always find a way, usually sometimes by accident, in honoring myself and my ancestors. And that was through learning that about my history, wanting to intentionally like take a break, be in the woods, learn there. And I knew through that history of family and deep connection with like land work and stuff, it would bolster my creativity. Um, and just like it's also healing. And when you heal by like growing things and working to make something better with your own two hands and not encroaching upon something, but in tandem being a part of the ecosystem and learning how to care for something, yeah, you're doing it for yourself. And then that helps clear some stuff for your work. So what I think. So
nice, nice. And so I want to go back. You said you
yeah.
came to uh, Washington, Seattle in 2019. What time in 2019? That's I only asked because that's about the same time I ended up here. So that's really cool.
Okay, so I'm crazy, right? So I chose to move pure necessity like in October to Washington for the first time. I did come and visit when we mentioned the Vancouver, Canada visit. I came to visit that first time and then I was like, oh, I could live here. Came back. It was October 2019. I had been laid off from my electrician apprentice. I was like, you know what? Fuck all this. All right. I worked hard. You know, I'm not going to make the big bucks to then funnel into my art with this field. So it was fun, but fuck all this. And COVID happened, I think, a couple months after I got there. I think it was right after the winter. Yeah, so I got there October, fall, went through the winter as my first intro to like rural Washington. I was on the peninsula, by the way,
Oh,
and rolled into COVID, and then really hit it hard with like farming and art and stuff the past couple of years, and came to Seattle after things kind of calmed down to really hit the ground running with finding the creative communities out here. So.
okay. That's really cool. I moved to Washington May of 2019.
Oh yeah,
And I was still trying to get plugged in, make friends, and then COVID hit.
yeah, like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, I was like just getting my stride, like hoping to make it through like the Seattle freeze, and then like mega Seattle freeze hit.
Yeah, I wonder. I I know that's a thing. I only heard of it when I got here. For you, do you feel like the freeze happens more in a social thing, or like for like art stuff, or just all over? Just like
This is technically my first published episode, and I don't know if I want to get canceled yet. All right, if I'm being honest, I think the Seattle freeze happens for a number of reasons. I've noticed those that say they have not experienced the Seattle freeze.
Mhm.
So there's some things I will say. I think I got past the Seattle freeze once I showed up to things a little bit more regularly.
Yeah,
Um, but specifically, I started looking to see who else was frozen out,
mhm.
and then I was able to like make that introduction and talk because when I would approach people who, well, let's say unfrozen, it's kind of like a game of tag. Those who are unfrozen and running around, when I tried to introduce myself, it was very like, and so,
Was it hard to like be like, oh, I'm Kyle? Like, was it kind of like hard to, you know, just chat with him or something?
well, okay. So there's two things. There's that it wasn't hard to chat. It was just I learned people in Seattle they don't chat. Well, okay, and that's a complicated answer. So
Yeah.
they will chat with you if you greet their dog.
Oh, they dogs are currency or something here. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you greet their dog, they'll chat with you. You'll even get the name. Um, but if it's just like or an event, just like going up and saying hi, people are kind of like. But this was also the time where like a lot of people were occupied with the Fang jobs. This is me getting into that territory of cancellation.
The who drops?
The Fang, like the Facebook, Amazon, like those high up tech jobs.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this typically happened when I ran into tech people because they'd say, "Oh, what firm are you with?" or like, "What role do you have within that?" And then if you didn't have anything or access there, then it was like, okay, social climbing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the currency. And so,
Yeah.
thankfully, I made friends with my coworkers. I don't recommend that all the time, but thankfully, like at my first job, I made a really good inroads there and some great
Mhm.
friends that still support me to this day. And then
Mhm.
that helped me have a basis to be able to go and do what I do now, and that's kind of like find people on the margins who are like frozen out and help bring them in and make community.
Yeah. And there's always a need of that because in Seattle and beyond, people need to know like it's okay for you to be here.
Yeah,
And also, please be here. Like I'm not gonna like do some weird shit. Like I feel like people need to be better with each other socially before they can really like be around each other. Well, I mean, a lot of people learn in the midst of like just socializing, but I know as someone who's had a pretty well developed networking skills, I find there's a different pace of socializing, which I also appreciate at the same time. Like,
it's kind of.
yeah.
I'll say it like this: I feel like California, I can strike up a conversation and like just with strangers perfectly.
Mhm.
Whereas I come here and it's kind of hard to strike up a conversation with a stranger. But it also might, I think it also might have to do with like neighborhoods and just because I
Yeah.
noticed,
Well, what neighborhoods you're in?
yeah. So I know here, West Seattle, and that's where I kind of built and stayed. West Seattle was it felt very California because it was laid back and I could just kind of, I know the people that check out, like I know people who work at the Safeway, like where I go, like I know the people there and we have like there's a sense of community. And
Hmm.
that's why I settled here in West Seattle because, like, as soon as I moved in, my neighbors came and greeted me. Uh, they
Just
told me, like, yeah, like they were like, "Oh, you should go to this restaurant," and like they got me plugged in.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's really cool. Yeah, it definitely just depends on where you're living. I always had a mixed bag. I mean, when I first got to Seattle, I think I wasn't sure what the freeze really meant. I know like people I realized sooner than later, like, yeah, I think I'm cool. You know, I'm a big like if you hit me up, I hit you up.
yeah,
I'm big on reciprocity. So I'm like, if I know
very,
that you want to hang out, you're gonna know that I want to hang out.
yeah.
Feels pretty simple, but Sometimes you don't know. People are you can't predict people sometimes. And luckily I found some really cool people that I love dearly. Some people who, I don't think they're good at being friends. And that's also something I think that can help in your work as a creative. Like if you can really invest in the people that invest in you and realize like maybe really take your time with people. Give them the good old 90 days, like kind of like chill and stuff and like no pressure things, even in terms of like dating and stuff. So anyway,
Touch on something there in terms of like the creative side of thing and like getting
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
I think as a creative too, it was kind of, I guess for me, it was also kind of hard too
Hmm.
because, um, and that's also why I like that. That's also why I like the different pages like Hey Dot Black. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
gonna
Black. Oh,
get plugged in. Yeah,
yeah,
but as I, it wasn't until I started the gallery that I felt like I got tapped in and got to meet the community that was out there.
yeah, yeah,
And I say that because it's like that's a long way to go for art community and like feeling like you're plugged in.
yeah.
But it felt very much kind of there was groups here and there, but there was nothing in the area. I'll answer these questions real quick.
Yeah.
It's in terms of finding people to invest in you. Actually, I'll let you answer this, Maze, and then
Mhm.
I'll answer with my.
I mean, um, I over the years I consider a lot of people who have bought something or traded something for my work an investment into me as well as anyone who's like given me access to a gallery space or like invited me into a show or helped me do a certain framing for a show. And so people have definitely invested like time, money, creative energy into my work over the years. And I'm always like trying to like, for example, I got to Seattle and California has great art programs and stuff, but I think I've gotten the most grants from being an artist that just basically God, I forgot all the names of the grants, but I got a few of them, smaller amount, but like to support the work, which I really honestly appreciated. They had like artist COVID grants and stuff. And through finding like resources, I'm also like, seeing in my work groups and people to like kind of work with to invest time in, and then also in hopes that they'll invest in me as well. So
Yeah.
um, definitely
And
depends. There's more people to meet. Uh, you know, more art to make. I would love to like invest. I'm not. I would love to collab with other artists too, like in a collective, and then have that be invested in and to do the work and stuff too. So yeah,
and just to like, I guess, just to like kind of bring this all around, Tito is actually a writer. Um,
yeah.
Tito, I'm not sure if you're still based down in the San Diego area because it's been a while. We got to check in, but Tito's a writer. He's been writing, I know, at least since we were freshmen in college. But I've known him since like sixth grade. Okay, he's still in San Diego. Nice. Okay, so that's the cool part is once you like, there's the Seattle freeze, but then there's people who genuinely want to make connection. And I think
Yep.
once you dig past that freeze and you find those people who are like, hey, we've had to move here, we've had to like make the inroads and get settled too. Then you gotta
Yeah.
find people who are willing to invest. And like I've had people in West Seattle who's giving me my first show, my first exhibition. Um, and I've had others who have helped mentor me, develop me,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
create spaces for BIPOC artists to create.
Yeah, which I've seen a lot more like groups coming together, which I feel like the beautiful part of being here in the city, which I'm having a lot of fun in terms of I'm not having a lot of fun because of the world, but in general, like I'm hitting my certain thresholds that I needed to as far as like creative and socially and stuff. And also like I'm always down when I'm in a new city, when I'm living somewhere, I'm always down just to go out by myself. Like I don't need to be in crowds or with a bunch of people, but I love going out, connecting and networking. It's like because I know like anxiety also gets people when they're trying to socialize and trying to meet new people. And, sometimes people don't have a good resting space. And you're like, do you not want me here or alive or
Yeah.
on, And I don't know. And some people shine socially in certain spaces. Some
Mhm.
You know, sometimes some places are too loud to even talk to each other. I don't know, but
Um,
in any case, yeah.
yeah, and I'm gonna answer this question real quick, and then I have a question for you. So, like Tito, in terms of finding a producer, something I want to highlight about Seattle that's really cool is our Black community here. We have the Black Film Festival every year, and I think it's like June or Mayish, but it's through the Langston. And the Langston, it's an amazing institution. A little fact that I like that I find really cool is I was watching this documentary about she was a '90s
Whoop,
personality who did fortune telling. Miss Cleo. Okay, okay.
Ghana for your reason.
Well, and so here's the
Dominoes.
thing: she created that character, according to the documentary, created that character while she was doing an acting class at the Langston back in the
Good for
'90s.
her.
She came out of the closet and was a huge. Well, she was the ally, then came out of the closet when she moved to
Boys.
um, Florida.
Mm.
Um, but anyways, if you're looking to create movies and film, like the Langston is the perfect place to check out. And that was the other part too, is being new to Seattle, then COVID hitting,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I had to move away for like 7 months for a role. And then coming back, I didn't get a chance to get plugged in or find out that um that whole area was just like a hub for black art. And I was just like, wait, this entire time? Like I just need to go a couple of streets up.
Right.
And then now, like now that I'm free,
Hmm.
I don't want to stay free. Like now that I'm taking a pause on the gallery for this next project, I'm like, oh, I can go get plugged in and find community.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps when you can consolidate your work and your what you want to do in your roles and get connected with people than to keep making a new thing. You can well, I guess there's a couple ways you could do it, but like at least tap in. Like even if you do your own thing, at least have that direct, route or arm or mutual flow of um, connection and work it together. So
Yeah.
I
But
really like that you found it. I also just went to start going to a couple events within the past couple of years. Beautiful space. Great
yeah,
stuff.
tell me a little bit. This is actually the question I was going to ask. Tell me a little bit more about the spaces you go to get engaged in community and what those look like.
Well, the thing with being curious, which has been like one of my main fuel, I guess, drivers or something, is let's see. Well, because I was mostly in on the peninsula doing the kind of like land work out there, and I would drive into Seattle for like events and stuff. I would try to make my visits more like intentional for those first couple years. So from one event, someone's talked about another event. So like word of mouth is like it works very well. Like um, it's your best way of networking for any business. Like it's literally talking to people or also actively listening to, right? So, and you would see like flyers. I would see like flyers. I would go after things I'm interested in, like obviously going out to like queer events, shows, drag, burlesque. Always have my ear to the art venues and art shows, and also would look around like I don't know. Yeah, I would just always be in search of and be curious about. And I think that's what drives me. Even because again, like I was starting out to be on the peninsula for a while and I had to keep driving in. I wasn't there full time for a long time. For like 2021 I think. So I've been here a good 5 years, which is
Okay.
a I think it's a good amount of time to really find your people, find cool new people. People are always moving here. There's always like energy coming and going, I think. So I don't know if the freeze is like a a thing so much so like maybe you're also thinking not you, but like in general, maybe sometimes people um I don't know. It's not always freezing to me. I feel like there's warm people
Yeah.
and I feel like through effort and you just gotta find the people that are mutually doing it, you know.
Yeah.
And some people do need investment and time. So, wow.
And I'll say that that's the cool thing about Seattle is it has its own ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not New York, it is not LA, it is not San Francisco. It has its own flow. And I'm not saying it as a knock. It's just like everyone expects you go to a big city and every single big city is the same.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own personality. They're all different.
Yeah.
And I think that phrase, it's once you understand the flow of things.
just be a little brave and you know, don't just be going out to everybody like don't, people are just like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I'm
Uh,
coming from like a small town to a big city. There were some moments I was just like, "Oh no, hold on, this is,"
yeah,
oh, but
yeah,
by and large, it's
hard too. And also at the same time, sometimes if I'm like low on social battery and someone else is like way higher on the social battery, I'm just like, man, I'll just nod probably, smile and nod. But like there also is an energy out here that I do like and appreciate, but also yeah, it isn't New York, which energy I missed a lot. So hopefully I could visit this year. But it's something like the more you find yourself, you'll find your pace in things, and you know, there's so many ways you can be. So, are you a freezer? Are you being frozen? I don't know.
oh. Okay, Oprah, I see it.
I don't know. It's
You
something she
froze?
said that.
Were you froze or were you frozen?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting socially. You just gotta be like open,
Yeah,
but
but on this social note, I want to bring it back to you because I want to highlight and talk about you and your experience. I recently saw you at the lumberyard for their art market,
yeah.
and I want to ask you about just art markets. Is that the only one you've done? Have you done some more? And because it goes into the Seattle freeze and like getting out and knowing people, how
Mhm.
has that been?
Well, I really like the slushies there, so I've been there a
Ah,
number of times. So eventually, someone started talking to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, da da da, I do this," and got the email, yada yada, and signed up for a show. And I've done a number of like events and vendor events in California. And here in Washington, I'm still like ramping up because I've one of the somewhat delays with some of my work is getting like things well, custom printed in
okay.
time for these shows. Sometimes they're like last minute. Sometimes I roll through whatever. But I think with the increase of like some tattoo guest spots that I've done in tandem with like getting to know people in that realm, in that world, I've continued finding art display spaces at the same time. Like going to Asylum Collective has been really dope. They have a great art space there.
What is
Uh,
that?
they're in Pioneer Square, actually, or down
Okay.
whatever, like on Jackson. There's a lot of like really dope spaces. There's, uh, Alter Ego Expressions. I haven't been there
Yeah.
yet, but it's on my list. Like,
Uh, you got to go there now because I think their last day there is like the 5th. But let me tell you something. In terms of a creator that's doing it, Alter Ego.
geez.
Look,
Hmm.
they've been creating their art since high school. Put it together. Their families been supporting them, and then like this is a whole business. And sorry, I don't want. That's another
Oh yeah.
artist who I hope to have.
Yeah, these are just people I remember because when you see people doing your thing, it gets into your mind as you're doing your thing. Like imagine like maybe this is all the way out there, but like a field of horses just running.
Hmm.
Everybody's different. Everyone's like running at their own pace, but we're going. And like it feels like that every time I see a creative when I'm like creatives are like superheroes to me.
Yeah,
And I've seen some incredible works like God, what is her name? I know one of her personalities is like Miss Pam, but she has the showing or installation in Seattle Art Museum. Oh, Tarika Waters, excuse me. And so she's one
yeah.
of
I've
the
heard.
artists that I've seen in the collective space when I first got here. And seeing how those ecosystems are connected, like she showed there, I showed there some years later. I saw her work in the art museum. I also had some work in the art museum. Like I love when I'm seeing people do their thing and it's been a big inspiration. So I don't know if I'm answering the question,
No, you are. This is
but
good.
yeah, something. So
Yeah.
uh
So, and I wanted to ask, like, you're going out to these spaces, you're having these experiences. What? I mean, how do you keep yourself fueled as an artist? Because that's a lot.
ramen. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've been this way since I was really young. When I was working full time as an electrician, I was still like, I just never had any chill. I just always had this like go getter spirit, this like curiosity. The past like year, I've been in like physical recovery from some things, so I've had to like
Mhm, mhm.
kind of really pay attention and slow down and like take care of myself and my nervous system. Um, and really embrace. going at a pace that's well, I don't know. As someone who's like has fire placements and a big earth sign, I think
Yeah. Wait,
I'm
what's the
just
sign?
I am a Virgo. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay, I'm a Taurus.
congratulations. We are always a good vibe.
Yes, yeah.
Uh, some
Well, when you
people
have
I
the
love.
candle, it's all there. The signs are there.
Yeah, yeah. Some really dope people in my life right now who are great to me, who are also Spurses. So I appreciate y'all a lot. In any case, yeah. So fuck, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I just, I just, there's the drive to like take care of myself and my family, which is really big. Which is why in the work career life of myself, I've never had chill. Like I was an electrician apprentice. I did like conservation work for years. I did tech sales. I've done all types of things to bolster that area to then feed and bolster like the drive with my creativity and my art business. And now tattooing altogether. I'm just following the path, and the more I listen to myself and trust my own guts and my own instincts in every part of my life, it just helps me grow. It helps me keep going. Protecting yourself and your boundaries and, that's a part of it too. And being good to yourself too, because you'll be surprised, how even when you're not like focus, you're not feeling like the best in the creative mood. Even if you just every day do something. I love the Pomodoro technique. I always listen to it with like this Skyrim music background. It's beautiful. It's like 20 minutes, you do your thing, and then you have the rest of the day. You can do it again multiple times, whatever. But since I've already built in my body that I just love drawing and creating for years and years, it's just my makeup,
Yeah.
And the fuel is like money, support, people showing up, people telling me, what they see in my work. That's a big thing. Sharing in those experiences with others and creating community through that. Um, yeah, it's all in a back and forth evolution. Because my work has exploded in terms of like tattooing and that challenge and that design style, and I just love it. So,
Yeah.
what I'm here to do.
I was gonna say, speaking of tattooing, where can people find you? Because you mentioned that you have a residency downtown.
Oh, yes. I am at a studio downtown called Chance Magic Tattoo Studio. I also do guest spots around Seattle. I was at Sorry Tattoo weeks ago. I did some mentorships at Lilith Tattoo and just a few other tattoos shops around town. So sorry, I'm just putting it in the chat. And then my fabric page. Yeah. So,
Nice.
those are my IGs and stuff, where you find my most recent posting and stuff. I also kind of post for Patreon too. I totally forgot to send you that, but
No, I
uh,
saw it. And
mhm.
once this goes live on the podcast, everything will
Mhm.
get in the show notes, and then I'll put some stuff in the post too once I get this
Oh
all.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's a journey that I still feel very young in. I plan to travel overseas to kind of take like a art curiosity kind of like inspiration adventure, kind of do for one of those. So
Okay.
I'll definitely be like going to different places around the US too. That's my plan.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
So,
yeah.
I have two questions that I ask everyone on the podcast, and these are my two questions for you. And we're definitely gonna have you back because there's just so much more we could have I want to cover too.
Oh yeah.
But my last two questions are this. The first one is, as an artist in this very moment, how would you describe yourself as a creative? Like one word to describe yourself as a creative in those moments.
Well, curiosity is the biggest one, but it feels so much more than just like this is cool. More like a focused curiosity, and there's just so much to do. It feels uncontainable. Whether it's also anxiety of the times and wanting to be like, you know, make marks here and internationally as an artist is at play and like has happened, but like I just feel like there's so much more to create, so many different ways you can make it. Where's my sorry. Yeah, so yeah, focus, curiosity.
And then my final question for you before I let you go is, what song would you use to describe your creative process?
Oh, no. I didn't see this question or prepare for it. But song? Yeah. I mean, I just be putting on my playlist,
Okay.
and these are songs I listened to for like years. Shout out to always listen to the same songs over and over again. I have a variety of like music tastes. I know like when I'm really like in it and focused, I'm listening to like background music, like the freaking lo-fi sounds. But yeah, when I'm doing my Pomodoro technique, the music really varies. But it's hard to answer the question. I'm always putting on a playlist and zoning out to that. And then when I'm really focused, there's a little less lyrical music and more so like instrumental of varying types. It could be like synthy, orchestra music. Definitely the lo-fi's, the very like tones and frequencies. Video game music,
Okay.
big big fan of video games.
You mentioned Skyrim earlier.
Oh yeah, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like yeah, sitting there and I'm just like, man, this is pretty as hell. Anyway, so yeah, so a mix of things, but yeah.
Nice. Well, Mace, thank you so much for your time today, especially just like behind the scenes. I'm not going to go into all the behind the scenes stuff, but what I loved about it though is it's two artists figuring things out, making it work. And I
Mhm.
think that's what it's all about in terms of investing in the relationships and the
Yeah,
accelerated process.
yeah.
And this right here, this was really cool. I enjoyed it. So, um,
Yeah, I was all nervous. I was like, "George fan."
yeah, honestly, I don't go live like this. So this was a lot of fun.